I brought my first Fujifilm in, when was it? 2018, and I was shooting one Nikon, a D750, and a Fuji XT2, and I didn't want to go full over commit to Fuji because I wanted to, give it a test how they went. So the Nikon D750, that was my main camera, and the Fuji was more for like, the XT2 was like, little candids during parts of the day, and for personal, to see how I got, if I liked it or not. And it was brilliant camera, the XT2, but I wasn't completely convinced of it. Most people that have been Fujifilm shooters with the XT range, from XT1 to, they'll all say the XT3, when that came out, was a massive leap from the XT2. So in 2019, I think, I sold the XT2 and an X100. The X100 is a person, I can't remember if it was the T. I think it was, it wasn't great. I went back full with Nikon for, how long was it? A year, about a year and a half. And then I started seeing the glowing reviews from the XT3. And I miss Fuji in terms of, I preferred the size, how silent it was, and the weight, compared to people that have shot the D750. It's a massive camera and a big old lens, a Sigma Art lens, which was heavy. Even the Nikon lens is plastic but heavy and big, and a wedding day is too much, it does your back in. So in 2020, halfway through 2020, because I didn't have many weddings, obviously COVID, and I thought, I'm going to give the Fujifilm a go again. So I bought an XT3, and I loved it, fell in love with it, and I thought, yeah, this is completely miles ahead of the XT2. And that was it. I went back to full time with Fuji, and I've never gone back. I'm now currently shooting, I'm recording on the XT5, which is insane. It's even that one of the recordings I made earlier, I had to re-record it because I was completely out of focus. I put face detection on, and it was focused on Ryan Gosling. That's how good it is. It picked him up. I suppose you're probably thinking that's not a good thing, but it just shows how good the face detection is. How it picked it, because obviously I pressed record to come sit down, and it had already locked on him, and it stayed on him. Probably because I've got it on the tracking focus, where it ignores obstacles, which I am, compared to the poster. So that's a good thing. But yeah, so I on a wedding day now, I shoot XT5 one body and an X100V, which I love, and I'm going to do a separate video on the Fujifilm X100V. Why it is amazing. Yeah, so the main reason I shoot Fuji is because of the size and the weight, and how quiet they are as well. I personally think Fuji, along with Leica, obviously you've now got the Ricoh camera, which are brilliant, but they're so compact, and they're perfect for my style of photography. So the photojournalism, documentary, candid. I'd say most photographers now, wedding photographers, want or need a silent camera. Just for it doesn't matter what style of photographer you are. We all, doesn't matter if we're candid or formal, traditional, cheesy. During the ceremony, we're all candid at that point, aren't we? And it's quiet, apart from the registrar talking. So you don't want a big, the Nikon D750 was so loud, and it was embarrassing. I hated it. Great camera, but too loud. So that's a massive benefit, especially with the X100V and the XT5 now. The XT5, even the mechanical shutter is really quiet, and then you've got the silent shutter, which I think most mirrorless cameras have now anyway. Mirrorless full frame cameras have. But Fujifilm, like the colours it comes out of that camera, and I'm not a massive tech person, and the grain, I love grain. I fell in love with grain. One of my favourite bands is The Who, and the classic iconic album, which made me fall in love with the Who, Quadrophenia. And I've got Quadrophenia album on record, on vinyl, and it's all pictures, storytelling of the whole, the young boy. He's, if you've seen the film, I'm not going to talk about the film, but. And all of them pictures, they always stuck with me. How grainy they were, and I loved it. And this is when I was really young. I didn't even know the word grain existed, and noise. And Fujifilm, they produce the best grain, and I love grain. A lot of photographers don't like grain. They'll shoot as low as ISO possible, and they'll do grain reduction, noise reduction in post. Which I don't unless I've shot a photo like 12,800 ISO, which is very rare. But if sometimes I have to go that high, I might put a bit of noise reduction on then. But the grain I love, and Fujifilm brings that grain masterpiece to the quality of the photo. So yeah, I mean that's the tech part of it. But the main thing for me is the size, the weight, how quiet they are. And I'm not knackered at the end of the day. At a wedding, when my back would be killing, my wrist would be killing, and I wouldn't want to use it again. I don't use it for work, like most people. You go to work, use their tool at work, and then they don't want to use it again. But with my Fujifilm, I've always got it on me, my X100V anyway. And I'm recording on the XT5. The XT5 is ridiculously the best camera I've ever had, but the X100V I'd always pick over it because how compact it is, how tiny it is, and I can get in closer with people, and it's just more enjoyable to use. So yeah, so this is not a selling point. This is not me trying to sell Fujifilm. I'm not an ambassador. I'd love to be one day. Hopefully I can be. It's just personally for me, even if you don't go down the Fujifilm route, try and get a small camera for a wedding day, because it's a long old day, 10 hours long, and you need size and weight to be as low as possible.